Hello everyone, welcome back to the TCF Sport Podcast for another episode. My name is Ben, as ever joined by my brother Stephen. How you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. You all caught up on Matchweek 6?
I've seen all the goals, yeah.
Yeah?
I don't remember them, but I've seen them.
That bodes well for the first section of the classic Take a Bow section, which I'm going to ask you about for your opinions on as we get into it. Oh, you know what? We might as well just crack straight into it. Take a bows from the weekend, you got any? And from last weekend as well, because we recorded on the Sunday. From last weekend, we recorded on Sunday, but we might have missed one from the Arsenal City game.
Oh, well, obviously you think Calafiore's tickaboo.
Come on, it's a definite tickaboo.
Because it's a left back.
Well, no,
and it's
just
his first goal.
Anyone.
And you're a biased Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
It was a very good finish. Good goal.
But not a tickaboo?
I'm not giving it tickaboo now.
Ah, disappointing.
You can tickaboo though.
No. My question was to you. You're the Andy Gray mimicker expert.
Andy Gray expert. Do you know, interesting story? Andy Gray had porridge this morning for breakfast. Hi, Andy.
How's that mask coming along?
I haven't done it yet. So I agree with two of yours here. You got James Justin against Arsenal yesterday.
Yeah.
And the second goal was good as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, outside of the foot and off the
was
post.
Such a peach, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I was watching that back.
Beautiful.
How far it started outside of the post.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it against Arsenal.
So that was a tickaboo. There you go. That's what you wanted, isn't it? And yeah, Cole Palmer's penalty against Brighton. His free kick. Yeah, that was quality. His free kick.
Which one was better? Justin or Palmer's?
I'm going to go with Justin because it was on the move, outside of the boot, outside of the ball, is a right back.
Yeah. And
Palmer had time to line it up. And
it's just one of those that probably, partially because it looks like more aesthetically pleasing on the eye, the technique of it is, yeah.
But even when you're watching it, like, as an Arsenal fan, you're watching it and going, oh, yeah.
Yeah, fair play. You just sort of go,
great
fair
goal.
Play. I know.
Like when the lad at Bolton sat down the 16-year-old, good goal.
16! As we were there in the stadium.
Yeah, that's what your reaction was like. I was like, look, all right.
You could have done a bit better, Ben. He's 16!
I thought he was going to go, thanks, Phil. Oh, yeah.
In-betweeners reference there for everyone that doesn't know.
People watching this, if they don't know In-betweeners, then it's the first time.
It was a long time ago, 2008, wasn't it? 2008 to 2010.
What's your target audience then? 12-year-olds? Because it should be, with swearing.
I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I kind of wanted to talk a lot about Arsenal and City because to me that's still the main talking point from the Premier League in recent weeks.
Typical.
Well, we recorded on the morning, so we last recorded on the morning of the Arsenal City game, meaning obviously we hadn't seen it, we hadn't spoken about it.
Well, it hadn't been played.
Exactly. That's, to sum it up. But it does feel like there are still a lot of talking points, and especially the reaction following the game, which we will come to. So I kind of wanted to start there, and then after we've got through all of that, feel free to go wherever you want to go. So anyway, was the decision to send Trossard off correct, in your opinion?
Depends on how you look at it, I think. Like, if you think he's kicking the ball away deliberately, then yeah, it's a second yellow. But he couldn't wait to get his yellow card out, from blowing the whistle to getting the card out.
Yeah.
And I've seen something on it since the match, and I was talking about Martinelli, and there's a load of space, and they think that, because they've got the wide lens as well, they were showing that, and they think that he was trying to play him in. I think people say, obviously, biased Arsenal fan. I think there's got to be sometimes a little bit of communication, like, because the ref, as he's blowing the whistle, his Lynn kicked it in it. There's no like, oh, wait a couple of seconds, smack it out first and foremost. And he doesn't just kick it out of play. He's, from what it looks like, trying to play in Martinelli.
The thing is, you could say that, but surely he knows that he's fouled Bernardo Silva with the challenge that he's gone in for. The challenge, it was a blatant foul.
Yeah, but some players get away with blatant fouls, don't they? How many? Not every foul's given, is it?
No, I mean, I think that he was stupid, and I don't. So I do think it was a second yellow. The issue that I have is obviously we go back to the Emirates the game last season with Kovacic. And the explanation given when Mark Oliver was the same referee, he didn't want to ruin the game. Now,
yeah, he didn't want to ruin. No, you've got to add something. He didn't want to ruin the game for City.
Funny enough, when you're
going and reffing in the country that own City.
Yeah, well, that was the week
on their payroll.
Was that the week before the game as well? I swear.
Before that game, I believe so.
Yeah, as in last season.
Yeah. Yeah, and you think so? The 2 yellow cards are given. Don't get me wrong. The first yellow card, he pulled him back. Yeah, it was a yellow.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that kicking the ball away isn't a yellow card, but then Doku's kicked the ball away.
Yeah.
And their explanation was no, he was passing it to where the free kick should be taken.
Even though Declan Rice was stood.
Yeah.
About 5 yards away from that.
It's I've said it before. I'll say it again. As far as I'm concerned, it's just corruption.
Well, a lot of Arsenal fans, I think, would share your opinion.
Yeah, but not just Arsenal. I don't think just Arsenal fans. I think other teams as well. Like even with VAR. Maybe not.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, he couldn't wait to send him off, could he?
No, I mean,
look how quick he got that.
I don't
card
disagree
out.
with that, only because we were watching the game live last weekend, and I knew as soon as he kicked the ball away, I could see Michael Oliver reaching into the top pocket and going for his yellow card and his red card. So yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that. And even though I do think it was a second yellow, I think Trossard should have been smarter. The issue I have is you go back to last season and just the explanations given.
Well, even after Declan Rice, you'd like to think as a squad, right? Don't take any chances.
Yeah.
Then you're wearing an Arsenal shirt. They're gonna want to send you off.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I think Trossard got punished for it a little bit by Mikel Arteta because he was carrying all the water bottles into training this week. Arsenal put something on social media with them all arriving, and Trossard was the only one carrying both ice buckets or water buckets.
Okay,
whatever. So,
fair enough.
Yeah. What did you make of our tactics in the second half? Were we too negative? And as some pundits have argued, do you think it shows a weak mentality?
No, it doesn't show a weak mentality.
No.
What pundits have said that?
Graham Souness, Roy Keane said it on the Stick to Football podcast as well. Those two come to mind straight away.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not like, we've said this before, it's not like 20 years ago when we'd watch Arsenal teams that go down to 10 men away at 0-0 and go, we'll still win this comfortably. It's City to try and win the game, isn't it? They got 10 men. What do you want to do? Be open and let them get back into the game?
Well, the point is, we were winning 2-1. It's not like we had to chase the game.
No.
So then you play to your strengths, and our strength is defensively. We tried to bang. I mean, the fact that we nearly did it, we nearly won the game, and arguably we should have won the game because maybe we shouldn't have played as long as we played, which is a separate point.
Corruption.
I was waiting for that. To me, the tactics were fine. The tactics were perfect. They nearly worked. People saying that we should have tried to leave one up top or to hit them on the counter-attack to give them something to think about. We nearly won the game. We were trying to win the game.
They were the best team in Europe season before last. They've been the best team in the league last 4 seasons.
Exactly.
It's down to them to try and break us down. Remember when we used to get annoyed with Wenger moaning about teams putting 11 players behind the ball? Where's this noise then? And at the time, it was like, well, it's down to you to try and find a way through and beat them.
This is the issue that I have as well in terms of like the hypocrisy of it. Both this and then when it comes to the so-called dark arts, which we'll come on to in a minute. We used to be a fairly soft touch. As we've said ourselves as Arsenal fans, we used to be critical of Wenger for, as soon as we came up against stiff opposition, we'd roll over and have our tummies tickled. Now, it's true. Now, we've learned how to...
Definitely aiming the pod at 12-year-olds.
Well, after I've said tummies tickle, please not, thank you. Now, it feels like...
It was better than roll over and get our arse handed to us, which isn't swearing.
It feels like now that we're playing a bit differently, we're giving teams different things to think about. We're just a lot more solid and a lot more streetwise. We're getting criticised for it. Not that I really care. I find it quite funny that people want to constantly focus on Arsenal and potentially be rattled by it, especially City, which we will also come to.
You know what it is, don't you? Because they're a threat.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They're a threat.
No, that's true. And when you look at it in that light, it's quite good.
Yeah. Surprising they're a threat without Odegaard.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know what? I'll ask the question now because I was going to ask it later on. But obviously, in the last podcast, you said that we were going to struggle without Odegaard. But now City are missing Rodri for the whole season.
It's back on!
I was waiting for that, yeah.
He's beginning to believe. Sorry.
I get that reference now. I get it. I've seen it. It was like the... I think it was a Leonardo DiCaprio meme. Do you know where he's pointing at the TV?
Yeah.
When I was I was in Calgary. I was watching The Matrix. It came on. It's beginning to believe. I was like, I got it.
It'll be interesting because City without Rodri are a different animal, aren't they?
Yeah.
So they do struggle without him. But yeah, we'll see what comes of it.
Fair enough.
But it's way too early. Like I was watching. I saw the first half. I think Wolves Liverpool with Dad on Saturday, and they were talking about like 6 games in, and Arsenal needed to win because City drew, and that's a big thing in the title race. And it's like you're 6 games in, like please. Like Arsenal could go and lose the next 3 games, and then that's it. It's done, isn't it?
Well, I built up the week that we had after the international break: Tottenham away, Atalanta away, City away. It's quite a big week because had the results not gone our way in the Premier League, we could have been 8 points behind City, which would have been too big. But now we're level on points. Even if we dropped 2 points at the weekend, it would have been incredibly frustrating because those are the games that you kind of need to win to win the league. We'd only been 2 points behind City, which isn't a insurmountable margin. But the fact is we're level on points, and now it's just take it game by game again. Yeah. And obviously other teams like Liverpool, even potentially Chelsea, which I don't agree with, is too early, but they could be there or thereabouts at the end of the season.
After that 10 years of top four's a trophy and then falling out of it, just enjoy it. If we're challenging, great. I mean, they should get Champions League football. Whoop-de-doo. But it's it's good to hear that music. I don't hear it because I don't go. Too expensive. But no, they should get top 4 comfortably, shouldn't they? And hopefully be there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
So that's all you can really ask.
Exactly. On the Rodri injury, obviously he's done his ACL. Now, more of a personal question. Obviously, I know that you've had issues with both of your knees, but have you done the same injury? Have you had the same injury in terms of cruciate?
Yeah, I did my cruciate ligament.
What does it feel like?
Well, mine didn't get diagnosed properly, so my knee kept giving away, and it was absolute agony.
So after you'd done it first, so do you remember doing it first time?
Yeah, I remember doing it first time. Yeah.
And then it didn't get diagnosed properly, and then each time, you try and play football after that, or you try and do something after that?
I was 15 when I originally did mine. My studs got caught in the turf, and it was like I went to turn, and my leg didn't want to. That got diagnosed as like a ligament strain. And they put me, the old tubey grip?
Yeah.
I was in that for 2 weeks, and it was doubled over, and it was the length, it was from my groin down to my toe. And they said, after 2-3 weeks you'll be fine, and then you can go and play football. And I was playing, and I'd be running down the line, go to cross the ball in, put my foot down, and my knee would just give way, and I could almost hear like the crunch, and it just. And
did you hear it first time you did it as well? Do you remember ever hearing it first time?
It was so long ago now. I can't remember. It was agony. And then, but I like playing football, so I was like, I'll shake that off. I'll run it off, and I didn't get it dealt with until I was 21. So 6 years later.
Yeah.
It kept happening, and in the end, they did keyhole surgery after a scan to clear out some dead cartilage that was floating around, and I was like, oh yeah, it's completely gone.
Jesus.
So yeah.
And they take it they didn't get to do the proper scan the first time you did it. That's why they didn't.
No, not the first time. No, not the first time. I didn't have a scan. No.
But I'm assuming as well the fact because they told you to go and play football, and obviously they're medical professionals. You also thought you were okay, or were you still questioning their diagnosis?
When you're a teenager, you just get on with it. You just take it as well. I did. I just took it as okay. It's a strain. It's fine.
Yeah.
They've done their checks. Whatever. I guess as well at that age. I mean, how many people in their teenage years do their cruciate ligament as well? There's probably that side of things as well. So, I mean, I was never going to be a professional footballer, so I'm not bitter or anything.
I'm not bitter.
I'm not. It's just one of those things like.
It's just the pain afterwards as well, and
really. It did put me off playing though. Like I still played, but it did put me off. Like when I was doing 5-a-side stuff like that. Oh yeah, it would go and it was agony, and then one day I was just like, this enough's enough. So
before I take it, you turned 21 and had the scan and
and had the surgery and all that sort of stuff. So
it's interesting because obviously I've never done an injury like that, and obviously it's quite common amongst footballers or football players. So I just wanted to know what it actually felt like from somebody who has like first-hand experience of it, because it doesn't matter what level you play at. If you've done an injury like that, it's the same for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, first time round it was painful.
Yeah.
But it got because it kept occurring. It just got worse. So I can't. Because in my head, I'm like, I'd never want to do that injury again because the pain was so much.
Yeah.
But that was because it continued. So you don't know what other damage you're doing every time it keeps happening.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, interesting perspective. Right, before we move on to the Premier League action from the weekend, so Game Week 6, there were just a couple of more questions I wanted to ask and a bit of analysis to get into from the City-Arsenal game. So, I mentioned the so-called dark arts. Do you think Arsenal used them, and were we right to use them? Do you care about us using them?
Yeah, I do care to an extent. I mean, there was a bit of time wasting. But then when it was against City, I was like, well, if it was against Manchester United or Tottenham or someone like that, where it'd maybe be a fairer game,
Yeah.
then I'd be like, oh, don't do that. But when you got 10 men for a whole half of football
Against one of the best teams in the world, arguably the best team in this country. Well, they are the best team in this country because they're the current Premier League champions.
yeah. So, no, but it ultimately cost them, didn't it, with the stoppage time that got added on, and then after 97 minutes, there's another 2 minutes, and it was like, oh, actually, City have equalised, so it's fine, we can blow up now.
Yeah, which is what he did, because as soon as the...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he blew. Do you think the reaction amongst the media to some of the tactics has been a bit overblown? So, again, on the Stick to Football podcast, no, it was actually the Overlap fan debate, Paul Scholes and Jamie Carragher said that Raya going down in the way that he did was cheating, was what it was.
Have they not watched Martinez for the last 2 seasons then?
Well, it's interesting because...
As in the Aston Villa Martinez.
Yeah, no, I know. But we used to, at times that we watched Villa,
we had a laugh about
we could
it.
pinpoint exactly when he was going to go down. And he always would. Yeah, especially obviously if they were winning.
He'd have the ball in his hands and throw it out and go, oh, my fire.
Yeah, I know. It would always be that same spot.
Yeah, I know.
The same spot.
It'd been funny if he threw the ball out and went, oh, my arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hypocrites, really. Like, Scholes as well, played in the Man United team, win at all costs, so...
That was going to be my point. I do find it somewhat ironic with him saying, when we had the conversation on the previous podcast about how United used to try and kick us off the pitch, or the 49 unbeaten, ending the 49 unbeaten run.
But, like with us, everyone's got an opinion and they're entitled to it, aren't they?
Of course.
If that's his opinion, fine, but then you consider the source as well a little bit.
Of course.
People will consider our source and go, who are these guys? God, is this their hobby?
Indeed it is. Did you see Arteta's comments about it as well after the game, in which he implied that he knew what went on at City because he spent 4 years there?
No, I didn't, but I saw something flashed up on the Sky News app, or Sky Sports News app, sorry, the other day about Guardiola reacts to Arteta's thing or asks for an explanation or something like that. I was just like, oh, please.
To which Arteta has since said that what he meant by his comments was he spent 4 years there, so he knows how hard everybody works, and they're brilliant, so we've got to be our absolute best to win, which I don't actually think is what he was implying. I do think he was implying that about his knowledge of the dark arts.
Well, but City have done that. They did it away at Sheffield United last season. Did they win 1-0, I think?
2-1. It went 1-0 and then Rodri
scored.
2-1. Yeah, right.
And then you got Haaland and Greenish in other home games as well, just holding the ball in the corner for as long as they can.
Well, you could talk about that. You could talk about the surrounding of referees influencing decisions. So do you remember Wolves at home at the Etihad towards the end of last season? It wasn't a penalty, or shouldn't have been a penalty, but I think Bernardo Silva and Foden both ran to the referee, really asking for it and complaining, and the referee gave it. So that you could argue as well. The thing that I found most interesting though is that I was reading an article from The Athletic in midweek talking about the back and forth between Arteta and Guardiola, and they highlighted that during City's All or Nothing Amazon documentary, which came out in about 2018, Arteta was telling the City players to make tactical fouls if they lost possession of the ball and were about to be hit on the counter-attack. Mm-hmm. So proof is in the pudding, no?
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah. Talking of dark arts as well, or along those lines, what did you make of Haaland bouncing the ball off the back of Gabriel's head?
A bit silly because it's Haaland in a City shirt. It's all fun. It's only a bit of fun.
Yeah.
If it was Kai Havertz, it'll be send him off, wouldn't it? If it was Granit Xhaka, it'll be suspend him for the rest of his career.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit silly, but at the same time, I think Ian Wright came out and said it was like a coward's move, which, fair enough, is your opinion, but it's probably somewhere in between. Like, it's stupid, but I quite like Gabriel's reaction afterwards, and that, we'll see you back at the Emirates.
Yeah. At least he didn't. If he'd have seen it coming, he'd have rolled around holding his face, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
But because he didn't see it coming, it was just like, what's happened? There was no play acting. So, because I can't stand the play acting, as we'll get onto in later, of other things that have happened over this weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just and then who did he barge into? It was Partey, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when he comes back, because Saliba had him last time, didn't he? Do you remember when he bounced off Saliba and fell down at the Emirates last season? So yeah, just did you hear what Dad said though? It's like, if I was Arteta, when they come to our place this season, I'd be like, I don't care if you get a red, just do him.
But it's the same for Bernardo, because again, the last thing I wanted to talk about was Bernardo Silva's comments. But after he made the comments that he did, which we'll get into in a minute, Dad said exactly the same thing. He used to absolutely love Bernardo because of how good and intricate he was. And you saw Bernardo say what he said. He saw Haaland throw the ball off Gabriel's head. It's like, right, they come to the Emirates, smash into him, absolutely do him. It was quite funny.
Can I pretend it's Big Dan Burn?
Yeah.
With that, because you obviously sent me that, and then Dad showed it to me as well.
Silva's comments.
Yeah, Silva's comments.
Yeah.
And he said, have you seen this? And I said, oh yeah, Ben sent it to me. And I said, I didn't say this to you, I said to Dad though, I was like, well, they're worried, aren't they? They're scared. That's why it's coming out with these comments. And I like what Dad said to it though, because it's like, yeah, does he not realise Arsenal has won 3 Premier League titles, and they did it without 115 charges over their head?
It's not wrong, is it? It sums it up best. I also find it funny, just to go back to the cheating thing of, yeah, you're innocent until proven guilty, but so you're calling David Raya cheating for going down, but what about all of City's charges that are up in the air? Or is it it's a Fuguzi, it's a Fugazi?
How many zeros should I put on this Czech Premier League?
Yeah, genuinely.
That's what it's going to be.
For me, that's enough about the Arsenal City game. I imagine we might talk about their 2 games that they played at the weekend against Newcastle and Leicester respectively. But yeah, let's get into all of the Game Week 6 talking points from the weekend. So staying on the title focus, do you think any other club will challenge Arsenal and City for the title? I'm talking more about Liverpool and Chelsea.
Not Fulham.
Not Fulham, although they're doing really well, and I've got a point on them later on. They're flying.
They are doing well.
Yeah.
And they got Jimenez scoring again.
Goals, I know, which is nice to see after his what he did.
His goal at Newcastle last week was taken really well.
Yeah.
That doesn't answer any of your questions.
That's okay.
No, I think it'll be between Arsenal and City, or maybe City just running away with it, but Rodri's injured now. So,
Yeah.
B2B. Chelsea have been surprising. They're still...
They're too vulnerable defensively for me.
Yeah, likewise. But they tore I was going to say Bolton then. They tore Brighton's high line to shreds at the weekend.
Which is an issue, because again, from last week, Forest tore Brighton's high line to shreds. But
then it makes... I know Arsenal were down to 10 men, but it makes the Arsenal draw at home look like a really bad result now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, them doing them like that.
The thing is, because we talked about Brighton, so after the United game, which I think you said that United were a little bit unlucky, or that because of Brighton's high line. And Brighton... the Xerxes offside... whether you thought it was unlucky, whether you thought you could have got out of the way in time. United had chances because of the way Brighton were playing. Even when we went down to 10 men, I think Havertz and Saka had a chance. They're obviously going to persist with this tactic, but Forest won the game. Brave, which is just stupid. They can't even get the line in the right place. And then obviously against Chelsea, they're trying to play offside on the halfway line. All it takes is one runner to start from inside their own half, which Madueke nearly did. He got just caught offside. But you concede 4 goals. It's... They're decent, Brighton, but mid-table.
Maybe they thought because they were faced against Jackson, it was like, well, even if it does go for and go 1-on-1, it'll just pass it to the keeper.
Yeah.
Or hit. Or we'll have all this side of the goal, and we'll go for this side.
Yeah. Or do another one of those, do you remember at Bournemouth last season, in which he hit it wide? Like, how big does the goal need to be before Nicholas Jackson scores?
Was it about 350% in the end?
Like that, yeah.
That was quite funny.
It was quite funny.
But Chelsea, like I say, surprising me a bit. But without Cole Palmer, I think they're a different animal. But he's different sort, isn't he?
He is. He's mastered the free kick, especially.
Free kick was quality. Yeah, quality. Would you say he's better than Saka?
I don't want to be biased, but no, I wouldn't say he's better than Saka.
Would you say his form over the past 2 seasons has been better than Saka?
Yeah, you can't really deny the output, from last season and then also this season. But I'd say Because then I could come to the England debate and you're saying, do they play in the same position or can you play them both in the same team? You could put Palmer as number 10 and Saka on the right.
Well, that's what he's doing for Chelsea at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, and look at what he was doing in that Chelsea team.
But it seems like you build a team around Palmer. I don't think you build a team around Saka. There'll be Arsenal fans screaming, "Is our star boy? Is this? Is that?" And someone will say, "Oh, but Saka's got how many assists this season?" Yeah, he has. And how many of those are from corners?
Yeah, but it's still the delivery, no? You say how many of those are from corners. To hit the same spot, or the spot that he needs to hit every single time, is there not ability in that?
No, I could hit that spot with my right foot every single time. No, not every single. I could hit that spot from a dead ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll go.
If I'm running up and down the pitch for 90 minutes.
We'll go over the park and we'll see, shall we?
Well, we keep saying we're going to do this stuff. Yeah, we will.
That's fine. That's fine. And I'll be arriving at the back post.
Bring your camera and record the delivery.
Okay, that's absolutely fine. And then I'll record you
and
rolling
then you
around.
can all decide.
Rolling around on the floor holding your knee again, shall I?
That's what'll happen. I won't warm up, and then I'll ping the first ball and something will just overstretch. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh.
And then you can do the Saka, and you can go, no, I'm injured. That's it. And limp off.
Taxi.
On the challenge in Arsenal and City, Liverpool, you think they'll be there or thereabouts?
Not sure. I'm not sure what they're all about, really. The comments from the game against Wolves, they were poor in the first half. They got the win, which is the most important thing. I just don't know. It's way too soon. Right, 6 games in. We'll see January, February time what teams are about, because all teams other than City will have that little blip where they drop points, have some draws, or lose some games.
Yeah.
Unless you're Man United, where that's just your season. So we'll see how that happens. When that happens and how they react to that.
Yeah.
But I don't know at this point in time.
No, it is too early to tell. Also because I think of other teams, they've had a comparably easier start. I think they'll be top 4, but I just don't quite think they'll have the consistency to challenge for the title. Likewise, Chelsea, I'm not putting them in the top 4 yet, but going forward's brilliant. Defensively, still a bit all over the place. But the size of their squad and some of the rotation that they can make, I think a cup competition and the Europa Conference League, which they're in and they should win because they're by far the best team in it, is what they should be targeting for.
The keeper's a bit iffy and all, when he's Sanchez.
He gave 2 goals to Brighton. I think he still thought he was playing for Brighton at the weekend.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first one, he came out for the ball, didn't he?
Yeah, which
and
didn't need to do.
The second one, was it?
He passed it straight to Belieber.
Yeah, you better believe it.
Yeah, I'm a believer.
Believer it.
Yeah.
Speaking of taxi for Sanchez.
We haven't done that one in a while, have we?
No. I like that as well. I like to just hash over old stuff, but taxi is filmed in front of a live stadium audience. The best one I saw was Van Persie away at Bolton. And obviously he was very left-footed. I think he tried to smash it with his right foot and hit his left foot.
But he was standing foot first. I remember watching that live, and then obviously Soccer AM did a bit on that.
The following weekend, like, taxi for Van Persie. Yeah, very good.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
don't make them like that anymore.
No. The amount of times we talked about Soccer AM on this, but I saw a clip of Fenners the other day talking about how the original conception of All Aboard the Showboat came in, and which I have to send you because I can't remember exactly what he said, but I think it was a Tim Lovejoy idea that just passing through a corridor. We should get a compilation of clips of people doing skills and whatever else. And
it's normally the youth players, wasn't it, or the academy players?
Youth players, academy players.
Yeah.
And Fenners was saying that because he knew Lee Trundle, who was back in the Championship, and people have called Lee Trundle like the Championship Ronaldinho or Championship Ronaldo. Fenners asked him, right, if you do a skill, can you remember what minute of the game you did it in, and then let me know, and I'll try and clip it up for this new segment we've got. And he'd have Lee Trundle messaging in afterwards saying, something between minute 35, minute 45, I've done so and so. It's quite interesting to hear.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's like, you're saying about Trundle being the Championship Ronaldinho.
Yeah.
It's like the streets won't forget Adel Taarabt.
Yeah, I know.
In the Championship.
Yeah.
Don't worry, he was really good, really, really good Championship player. I'm not knocking it, but then can't replicate it in the Premier League.
Yeah. Scored the odd decent goal, but no, I know what you mean. Well, it has played in the Champions League with Benfica in recent years. Right, a couple of other decisions and talking points. The Edison challenge on Anthony Gordon. Do you think it was a penalty?
Yeah.
I can see the smile on your face. Are you saying that just because it was against Manchester City?
Yeah, what badge was on his shirt? City badge. No, it was awful.
Bias, yeah,
no,
right.
Dad was telling me about it because that was the early kickoff, and he said, "Oh, it was never a pen." And I was watching Match of the Day, and when I saw it in live, I was like, I think, what's Dad been drinking? Like, is there something in his coffee? And then they slowed it down. You saw it. He's already going down before there's any contact. Those ones really annoy me.
I know.
As a fan, you just sort of think, but I don't understand how VAR can look at that and go, it's a pen, but like it doesn't have real control of the ball. Already going, I don't.
But it feels like he's gone down because he's seen that he's knocked the ball quite a way away. He's not going to be able to score, therefore he's hoping to get a penalty, and obviously the referee gave it. But
took the pen well though.
He did take the pen.
He doesn't get an assist for himself though on the FPL. He just gets the points for scoring the pen.
No, though someone did alright in the FPL this weekend because in our little mini league, you're the only one to have Cole Palmer. So
am I really?
You're the only one to have Cole Palmer. Yeah. I used my wild card and I was sat there thinking about the players that I could put in. Thought about putting Gahey in. Thought about putting McNeil in. Thought about putting Cole Palmer in. Put none of them in, and obviously they all scored. So great weekend for me.
Bring me the one you call McNeil.
It is brilliant, isn't it? A Futurama reference. For
you. Palmer's been in since the start of the season. So he's, like I say, he's just something different.
I know. He said. Yeah.
Do you know how much he is though? Well, he was at the beginning of the season. Bear in mind, he had one good season last year.
10.5 mil.
10.5 million.
Yeah, and he's gone up more now.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Was Calafiori lucky to stay on the pitch against Leicester?
I don't think so. Like, I know he was on a yellow card, but not every foul's a yellow card.
No.
I know Steve Cooper was like always on a yellow card. He should be sent off, but the second I can't remember the foul right off the top of my head, but I know it was a foul. But it's like he doesn't have to be booked to that.
It was only because the second foul, I would argue, I'm more on Steve Cooper's side on that one, only in the sense of it was the Leicester player was running into our own third, I want to say, Bernardo, so then he'd be running against the two centre-halves, so it would have been quite a decent chance and decent opportunity. So I can understand Steve Cooper's point.
Yeah, fair enough, but not every foul's a yellow card.
No, fair enough.
Was his first one a bit soft, or I can't remember
his first
it.
one. I only watched it yesterday, but I can't remember his first one. I think it was a justified booking as well.
Probably.
Yeah. Talking to Steve Cooper, I read another article from the Athletic in midweek saying that he's already under a little bit of pressure. They drew against Walsall, was really poor performance in the League Cup. I know they won on penalties. Danny Ward saved all three, like the Beacons. But
Danny, like the Beacons, Danny Ward played.
Danny Ward's still at Leicester.
I know, he's still at Leicester.
Yeah, he played and he saved all three penalties against Walsall to get through to the next round of the League Cup.
That's his level.
Fair enough.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Only joking.
But do you think him being under pressure already at Leicester is justified or a little bit too soon?
After 6 games?
It feels like modern football environment. Okay, so I asked...
who are they going to get in then?
I'll rephrase the question. Hey, Celtic are flying, but it's Celtic.
Well, who'd they play? Was it Kilmarnock?
Yeah. Was it Kilmarnock or St Johnstone?
Maybe St Johnstone, because they were saying about how Aberdeen were top of the league, so they won all their games, but Celtic are still to play, and I went, well, they'll win, aren't they?
Yeah. They've won every single game in the Scottish Premiership so far without conceding a goal.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but they've got Kasper Schmeichel.
I know. The big test for them is always in the Champions League, and I know they beat Slovan Bratislava in
their
first
game. 5-1,
they
didn't
beat them 5-1, yeah. But
I don't know who they are, though.
Well, it's their first time in the competition. So we'll see. The bigger test comes when you play against better teams.
Yeah, which they're Championship level.
Yeah, I know, you said before. I'm intrigued to see how they get on at Villa Park, because obviously they've got Aston Villa to play.
Yeah, well, Celtic win, the grass is green and the sky's blue. That's how that goes, really.
Yeah, fair enough.
God, I took a break out for Scottish football there.
I know.
I did wonder about the Kasper Schmeichel dynamic, though, with Brendan Rodgers, because he left Leicester under Rodgers to go to France.
I feel like that was more a PSR issue, though, because Leicester, as you know, have had issues with finances, and that summer that he left, they needed to get money on the books, whether through wages or whether through transfer fees. They didn't really sign anyone until they brought in Wout Faes right at the end of the window, and obviously that was the season that they went down. But I don't know. Obviously, it's still a decent working relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, he did win the FA Cup while I was at Leicester.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. Anyway, Steve Cooper, I was going to rephrase the question So I can't remember what it was now, but obviously you don't
he was
think
being
should
under
be,
pressure. Yeah.
you don't think he should be under pressure too
Not
soon.
yet. No, I know they haven't won yet, and there's 5 teams now that haven't won after 6 games, isn't there?
Yeah.
Which is a new Premier League record.
Is it really?
Since records began. Yeah, I think they said something like that on Match Day when it was 6 teams, but obviously Everton won at the weekend.
Yeah.
So no, I think it's too soon. I mean, personally, I'd be disappointed not to beat Everton at home, especially with how poor Everton had been.
I disagree on this Everton narrative, though. I think Everton have been decent so far. They've got some decent players. You go 2-0 up away against Aston Villa, that's fine. You look at the camera. Everton will be fine this season.
You throw a 2-goal lead at home to Bournemouth after 87 minutes.
That's fine.
You go 2-0 up again away at Villa, which you say, well done, 2-0, well done, you've gone 2 goals up.
Absolutely fine. I completely understand.
And then you throw it away, but you
lose.
lose.
Those points are
If
warranted.
you draw, okay, but you lose.
But to get into those positions in the first place, you have to be a decent football team.
Okay, those positions in the first place, come on.
I say decent.
No, come on, that's fine.
You know, we're disagreeing, we're recording and we're disagreeing. I like it.
That's what the podcast needs. But I ain't doing this anymore.
Heated debate. There you go. When I title it on YouTube, heated debate.
You need to see this now. All those taglines. Do you ever watch other like YouTube videos? Because I watch certain things and it's like, must watch now.
I know.
You need to know this. And it's like, do I?
Yeah.
I watch it and I go, yeah.
Clickbait. That's what it is. Clickbait.
Yeah. It's stuff that I want to watch though, that's the thing. So, but it's the taglines are just there and I'm just like, but it's other things that I want to watch anyway.
Fair enough.
But who do you think they'll get in then?
I don't know in terms of who they'd get in. I'm just saying that some fans
Gareth
will
Southgate?
question his tactics. If you want to go down. Okay, so that was the question I was going to ask.
If you want to go down. So what you're saying is that I have a better chance of Steve Cooper in then?
I think so. You're talking about Steve Cooper and Gareth Southgate, but do you think Steve Cooper should be getting more out of the players that he's got at his disposal?
When did he take over? It was in the summer. Was it middle of the summer?
I think as soon as Maresca went to Chelsea, and then Leicester must have appointed Steve Cooper a couple of weeks after that.
So how much of a pre-season did he have with them?
I'm not sure.
And it's the transfer windows as well. Like he's had to bring in players. Like he brought in Edouard from Palace, I think, on loan.
Yeah.
Who's not really been firing at Palace. He brought Jordan Ayew from Palace.
3 goals, about 150 appearances or something, wasn't it? Jimmy the Gregs will know.
No, he was all right for Palace, Jordan Ayew. I always used to think, how was he a footballer? But yeah, works hard.
Yeah, that's what you say about a player that isn't that good. You think, what's the most basic attribute? Oh, he works hard.
Covered every blade of glass.
To be fair, I only asked you that question as well because you said that Leicester you think will survive and fairly comfortably, unless I put in words in your mouth, but therefore it feels like maybe you think that they should be getting more, Steve Cooper should be getting more out of the players that he's got.
Just wait till they get on a run. I mean, they came from 2-0 down away at Arsenal and almost got a draw.
Yeah, I mean, we battered them, but it's a game that we
the goalkeeper made some really good saves. Yeah, we battered them, but it still showed how robust they were.
I know, and obviously then you've got a player, James Justin, who scores the second goal that he did. I've always liked James Justin, to be fair. Another one that had his career disrupted by an ACL injury a couple of seasons ago.
They seem to recover quicker though from them. Like obviously, the advance of technology and surgery and all that sort of stuff. Like it's a season-ending one.
Yeah, as it was for him back then.
But before it used to be career-ending, like in the 90s.
Yeah,
because now they do it with keyhole surgery.
Yeah,
and before they used to have to like slice your leg open. So
fair enough. Let's come to Manchester United. So, how many games do you think they will win in their next 6 in all competitions? So, I will read them out to you. Porto away.
Yeah, that's a loss.
Aston Villa away, not at home. I don't know why I put at home.
That's a loss.
Brentford at home.
Brentford at home.
The fact you're hesitating means it's...
Yeah, well, I've put Man United to lose their last 2 or 3 Premier League games, I think.
Yeah.
And they obviously lost against Spurs. They won the Southampton one.
Yeah. They played pretty well against
It was 0-0 Palace.
But they played pretty well.
They played well against Palace.
Still
but they just can't
lost.
score.
No, they couldn't score, exactly.
I mean, Eze had a couple of good chances, but they hit the bar twice in succession, didn't they?
Yeah.
Garnacho and then Bruno.
Yeah.
Brentford, I'll give them a draw.
Fenerbahce away.
I think they could win that.
Against Jose Mourinho. It's me, Jose. I'm the special one. West Ham away.
Yeah, West Ham can't defend, so we'll go draw.
And Leicester at home in the League Cup.
Depends on the team he plays, but I'll give him a win for that one.
Okay, so then my next question to you after that is, do you think Erik ten Hag will be in charge for all of those 6 games?
Well, it's come out today that they've given him the support for the next 2 games,
but
which are Porto and Villa.
Yeah, both away, both incredibly difficult. They also said the defeat against Tottenham, and rightfully so, was unacceptable because how they played was unacceptable for a club of United's size and stature. It does feel like, though, with the international break after Aston Villa away next weekend, 2 negative results in the next 2 games, be him done.
Writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even if he does get positive results somehow, and he manages to make it through to the end of the season, I know. Yeah, I agree. Come on, Eric. We're all backing you.
You can do this. Just believe.
Even if he gets positive results and then stays for another few months until the end of the season, the writing's on the wall then. He won't be in charge next season.
I don't think he'll be in charge at Christmas.
No.
Even if he gets 2 decent results coming up, I don't think he'll be in charge at Christmas.
They're just too inconsistent all the time.
It's the style of play. I sound like a broken record on your podcast, but it's the style of play as well.
Our podcast.
Until it makes money.
Yeah. No, I know that because it's one of the first things that you said when we were recording back in 2022-23 season, and you pointed out pretty quickly what style of play did they have, and they don't seem to have a style of play. And when you've got managers coming in, even like at Ipswich, Kieran McKenna, they've been in the Premier League for 5-6 games, and you can see what style of play they're playing. When you've got Postecoglou, I know he's been in charge a season now, but still a season less than Erik ten Hag, and you can see clearly what he wants to do.
I still don't think with Spurs and Postecoglou, all right, yeah, it was a good win, and they're really praising them, like Gary Neville and that sort of thing. I still think they'll be found out as well.
Yeah, it's like, so they played Karabag from Azerbaijan in the Europa League. They did really well to win the game, Tottenham.
Yeah, with 10 men.
Yeah, but I watched the highlights and also read all the comments underneath. The amount of chances that Azerbaijan had, and then the amount of times that Tottenham gave the ball away, which is what people were saying underneath, that game could have been like any score.
Yeah.
So they did well to win it, don't get me wrong. And he's eased the pressure, and rightfully so, because the last time we recorded him, I asked the question, is he under pressure? Because it came right after, on the back of the Coventry win that they scraped. So he's eased the pressure, but it does feel like...
That's almost been a little bit of a turning point, isn't it?
Yeah.
That late win.
But it does feel like that a couple of bad results again, and it could go the other way quite quickly.
Well, I think it was on maybe Match of the Day, and the Spurs fans were singing Brennan Johnson's name, and the commentators were like, the first 3 games of the season, they was on his back.
Well, again, I don't know if you'd seen, because not being on social media, but they were on his back. I think again after the Arsenal game in which he shot a couple over, people were giving him abuse on social media. He deactivated the social media account. Since then, I think he's scored in every game bar one.
That's the way forward. Deactivate your social media.
Yeah,
or don't be on it.
It shouldn't have to be on it. It shouldn't have to be like that. But
you shouldn't be getting abuse.
No, especially.
You know what I mean, like we obviously say things and have opinions on things, blah blah blah. But I couldn't finish. No. Well, I could finish Brennan Johnson's first one, say, against Man United. I'd like to think I could tap that in. My knee would probably give way as I go to them. Oh no, it's happened again. But other than that, like some of his finishes have been smart. He was unlucky where he hit the post against them as well.
I know. Yeah, exactly that.
But I don't get these people that get on social media and start throwing abuse. Like
it's just a game of football at the end of the day, isn't it? Like, yeah, we love talking about it. We love being involved in it. Yeah, but
like if this ever gets to anywhere you want to go, we'll probably be getting abuse.
I know.
But I mean, you had a little bit through Instagram. I think.
Oh yeah, because if people disagree with what you're putting out, instead of disagreeing in a constructive manner, they automatically assume that your opinion is wrong, and therefore then give you a load of dog's abuse for it. It's like politics in general, though. Not to bring it back to politics, but it's just political discourse and debate and discourse about most things, including football. People can't accept that somebody might have a different opinion to you. If somebody has a different opinion to you, it's the automatic assumption that person is wrong. That's what needs to change. Yeah, but that's like a wider societal issue.
I think as well, though, like with the opinion, people mistake because it's my opinion, but I'm talking as it's a fact. It's not a fact. No. It's purely just my opinion. Yeah. I call it how I see it, and that's how I see it in that instance. Or, like the whole saying, "Oh, they're corrupt." That's not a fact. That's an opinion.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the way sometimes they go around, it does look like it's corrupt.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they're not.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure, but they're probably not. Yeah. Let's not say sure, but
1 or 2 maybe. That Michael Oliver,
just definitely. A little bit. Michael Oliver, you mean Heisenberg? That clip was going on in his head as soon as Trossard kicked that ball. It's like, this whole thing, it's all about me.
Yeah. Last one on United. Did you see Christian Eriksen's comments in midweek after they drew against FC20?
I didn't, but I've heard about them. Was it something like they wanted it more?
Yeah, him saying that that FC20 wanted it more, hence why they got back in the game.
Was that 1-1?
It was 1-1.
Who scored first, 20 or United?
United. Eriksen scored, and then it was his mistake or he was part of giving the ball away for 20's equaliser. But him saying that, quite significant comments. Do you think that's just a mentality problem, as Eriksen seemed to be hinting at, or is it a wider issue of not playing for the manager?
That's a good question.
Very difficult to say without not actually being in the change room.
Not being a fly on the road, a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Well, it's worrying if that's the mentality. But was he talking about just that one specific game? But did they just want it more in that game, or is it in general?
It felt like he was talking about that one specific game.
I mean, you can have games where some of your players are having off games, can't you? Like, and it does. I think it is like a mentality thing, because sometimes you'll go into matches, and we've seen it before, where you think, "Oh, we're better than these, we'll beat them."
Yeah.
And they actually all pull in, and sort of their mentality is like, "No, you're not gonna have it easy," sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably a little bit of mentality.
Fair enough. It does, like as you said before, though, the writing's on the wall with Ten Hag, and yeah, massive week, and we'll see what happens after it. Because to me, I agree with you, they're not beating Porto away, and certainly not beating Villa away. If they do, I'll eat my words.
It depends how Villa do against Bayern Munich, how they come out of that.
Yeah.
Like, as in like injuries and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I know McGinn's missing with a hamstring injury that he picked up a couple of weeks ago, but even then, I saw a comment yesterday as well. It's like the decision to sell Scott McTominay, and yeah, he might not have been the greatest football player, but he always seemed to come on and get him a goal, and now you take that away.
He worked hard for him.
Great guy to have around, does countries. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a strange one though, isn't it? Like with Casemiro close to retirement, but then he brought in Ugarte.
Yeah, who is not on the pace at the moment. I don't
know.
No,
I mean, that was his first game yesterday as well, wasn't it?
But he was getting like 1-2'd round, getting passed off the pitch by James Maddison and Kulusevski and all of that.
I didn't really know who he was. I know they signed him from Paris Saint-Germain, but I don't know too much about him.
No, fair enough.
So I know, all I know is when they signed him, I was like, oh, he's the equivalent of Nkante, and it's just like N'Golo Kante, sorry. Yeah. I was like, well,
just let him do his thing first.
That always makes me laugh when you get, because when you don't know about players, that's what they do. They compare them to others, don't they? I remember when to take it back to Arsenal, when they signed Nasri, it's like, oh, he's the equivalent of a young Zidane. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
It's like, and he was good, Nasri, but it was no Zidane.
No, I was watching a clip of Zidane doing ridiculous things with the ball the other week, and it's just you can't really compare many people to Zidane, many players. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Although you think Ronaldinho was better, don't you?
Ronaldinho was quality.
Yeah.
But then I saw an old video of Ronaldo, Ronaldo, and I'm like, yeah.
That feels like that era of football was just. I mean, I can't really comment too much on it because I was a little bit too young back then. But people hold it up as not even necessarily just about it being nostalgic. It was just the individual expression, freedom of expression, and some of the ability of the players on show.
You want to be entertained.
Yeah. I know.
Unless you're Thomas Frank. Don't shoot.
Well, Brentford these days get a great first minute of entertainment, and then that's it.
Yeah. Right, boys, we're 1-0 up. Let's be Arsenal from the 90s. Do you see Lopetegui moaning because the referee wouldn't let him take the corner?
Yeah.
You've had 90 minutes to score more than one goal. Do you really think he was going to score from that corner?
Yeah.
He'd be moaning if they got caught on the break, wouldn't he?
Maybe just a little bit.
Keeper comes out, claims it, throws it. Brentford go and score.
Like,
you should have blown the whistle.
A little bit under pressure, maybe. I don't really know.
Yeah, when you
One
see
of those
that,
things.
Nonsense.
Yeah. Finally, a last word. We talked about Brighton's high line, which to me they do need to sort out very quickly. But last word for Fulham, because you mentioned them earlier and they've had a great start to the season. So what do you think is a realistic target for Fulham? And to preempt what you're going to say, is it going to be avoid relegation? They're not in the top 6. Avoid relegation.
Premier League survival. Yeah. Yes, you got it. Yeah, get survival's first and foremost all the time. Because all it takes is Jimenez getting injured, Emil Smith-Rowe getting injured, Pereira getting injured.
Yeah.
Maybe not Leno because he likes to pass the ball to the opposition.
There you go, Shah.
I think he was thinking, Shah. But yeah, I mean, after that, then they can maybe look at top 8. But yeah, it's way too soon. 6 games in, way too soon. Good away win though.
A good away win,
albeit took a penalty, but good away win.
Did you see? So I think actually they covered it. A couple of the decisions in the game. So did you think it was a penalty on the Fulham player? He got. I think Murillo scraped down the back of his Achilles. I can't remember. Pereira.
Oh, I remember it now. Yeah, I was going to say I can't remember the decision, but for me, it was more the push. I thought he pushed him a little bit.
Fair enough. Well, you can add that in as well.
So when they're saying, I don't think he meant to scrape down the back of him.
But does it need to be? Does he need to mean to do it, or can it just be a penalty anyway? If he's caught somebody. I mean,
it was a bit soft, but he pushed him as well. So I think if you put hands in the back, but I know they've given it for the other thing. I was like, well, when they do it in super slow motion, is he pushing him first or is he scraping him first? I don't know. It was a little bit soft, but you probably wouldn't want to give it against you, but you'd want to give it for you, wouldn't you?
I'd say it was a penalty, that one. Do you remember any of the two that Nuno was complaining about, or the two that they covered on Match of the Day for Forest that weren't given? I think it was Anderson on Awoni when he went through on goal. The ball was bouncing up. Anderson went to kick the ball, but very, very lightly touched Awoni. And the second one, I think it was Alanga and Calvin Bassey when Alanga sort of rotated and Calvin Bassey's kicked through his ankle or Achilles. Again, Dad said both of these very soft, not penalties. The one that I would argue a little bit more that Forest was slightly unlucky with was the second one. The first one was never a penalty on Awoni. The second one, there was contact. He did kick through him.
I don't quite remember the first one. The Alanga one, now you're describing it, I sort of remember it. And I remember I was doing the Charlie Nicholas, and I was like, well, if he'd have given it, I don't think VAR would have overturned it. No. But it would have been soft had it been given. So, but Fulham had a soft penalty as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Fulham, but that would have helped me if they'd been given that penalty because I don't know, I didn't have a correct score. But hey ho.
Yeah,
I'll sacrifice that for a Fulham win. It's fine. But also, Forest cannot complain about penalties, considering the one they got at Brighton.
Which one did they get? Oh, you see, when I saw that in real time, I thought that was incredibly soft. You can make more of an argument about it because it wasn't just not looking at shoulder to shoulder, which is what it was. So therefore, not penalty there. Clash of knees, collision of knees, contact there, which is why the attacker went down. But maybe VAR also being lighter with what they decide to change. They're sticking with the referee's decision.
I just thought both players have tried to go for the ball. It's a coming together. If the Brighton lad had gone in his back with his shoulder, then I don't understand. I'd be like, yeah, penalty all day long.
Yeah.
But they've both gone shoulder to shoulder. Both tried to use a bit of strength because the Brighton lad almost went down as well. He just managed to keep on his feet.
It was never a penalty for going shoulder to shoulder. That wasn't what I think it was given for. The only reason why
because of the clash of legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a coming together, wasn't it? The Brighton lad's not deliberately. He's not trying to deliberately wrap his knee around the other guy's knee, is he?
I thought it was.
That's just part of playing football, just trying to barge him.
No, I did. I did also think it was a little bit soft, but if the referee gives it,
I never thought it was a pen.
Fair enough.
Yeah, never in the month for Sundays.
Fair enough. But I wonder what Mark Clattenburg thinks about those decisions of Forest. That's what I really want to know.
He's not there anymore, is he? Is he at Fulham?
Yeah. Realistic target for Fulham? I know you said avoid relegation, but you also top half?
Yeah, top half.
Yeah. The only thing they'll be disappointed about so far this season is getting knocked out against Preston in the League Cup.
That was on pens though, wasn't it? Was that like 18, 17, something like that?
16, 15.
16, 15. I know it went high.
Yeah.
Like Towley.
I'm not even going to try and that.
You're not going to do the voice? You want to get high? Yeah. You're a towel. Oh dear.
And on that note, let's come to the table of results. So from last week, match week 5, I got 7, you got 5, James got 5, meaning the overall scores are I'm on 33, you are on 30, James is on 36. Obviously, most of game week 6 has been played as well, but because there's still a game to go, we'll do the update.
Oh, that was match week 5?
That was match week 5, so that was last week. So we still got this week's scores to add, which I think both of us, because we both had a correct score, and from the top of my head, James hasn't, meaning that the gap should be closed a little bit more.
We've all had an awful week.
I know we've had an awful
this
week. Yeah.
And then tonight's one, we've all gone for the same. We've all gone for the same result, but different score, haven't we?
Yeah.
So I don't know what did you go for?
I can't remember off the top of my head. Either 2-0, 2-1, 3-1.
I think you've either gone and then James has gone either one less, and I went for a 0.
Fair enough.
But I got Super Aaron Ramsdale.
Yeah.
It's going down. Yeah. It's going down.
Another relegation.
Yeah. That'll be Bournemouth, Sheffield United and Southampton now, wouldn't it?
It would be, yeah.
All the stripes.
Yeah. Collecting like Danny Ings is collecting claret and blue. He just needs to go to score.
He scored, didn't he, the other week?
He's come back from the cold. Well, didn't get that much game time under David Moyes. Came on against Fulham, scored.
Come back from the cold? Was he training with Palmer, was he?
Yeah. Oh, the worst thing is seeing Tim Sherwood doing the celebration like that because he was commentating the game on Soccer Saturday. I know.
Cringe.
I know. Very cringe. Anyway, that's everything I've got to say.
Got to an FA Cup final though.
Who?
As a manager, I don't know. Maybe as a player as well, potentially.
It's funny that I was only thinking about that the other day, sitting there thinking because they beat Liverpool in the semis, didn't they? And then they got absolutely battered by us in the final.
Smashed.
Yeah, and the next season they sold Benteke. Was that the year they sold Delph as well? I can't remember.
I don't know. Delph went to City, didn't he?
He did go to City. I think maybe it would have been the season afterwards. Anyway, they sold Benteke. They beat Bournemouth on the opening day, I think, but then really struggled after that. And yeah, then they went down with around 20 points. Remy Gard came in halfway through the season.
Oh yeah, he got sacked pretty quick, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was not good.
No.
Because was Sherwood at Spurs before that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember because he bought in Adebayor from the cold, didn't he?
Yeah,
at Spurs, and the old saluting each other.
I think the game was against Sunderland.
I don't know, but yeah, that was... Anyway.
Yeah, only gave him it on an interim basis and then appointed somebody else afterwards. I can't remember who they went with. Maybe it was Pochettino after Sherwood.
I'm old, I can't remember. Yeah. Before you wrap up, I was watching the Gary Neville podcast directly. He obviously films it directly after the game.
Commentary on the game yesterday.
With Peter Drury. Mm. And he was talking about Postecoglou's style, and he's saying, "Oh yeah, Spurs' style has been like boring for 5 years." And I was like, "What do you mean? Pochettino hadn't played a nice style of play."
It was only Mourinho and Conte really.
Yeah,
that people found them boring.
Mourinho and Conte haven't been there collectively for 5 years between them, have they?
Well, it's funny because again, you want another interesting stat. Postecoglou last season was the first Tottenham manager to complete a full season since Pochettino left. So Mourinho and Conte came in the middle of a season and then were given the next season, most of the next season, but then sacked eventually. So
yeah, because he went not last season before now, didn't he, Conte?
Yeah.
But quite towards the end, and his assistant took
Ryan
over for that
Mason
Newcastle game, and then he went.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry, his assistant took over. Then Ryan Mason came in. Yeah, but the season that Conte got sacked was the season I always come back to. Was it Henry Winter's article or whoever's article it was that Tottenham have had one of their best starts, but they haven't really got playing yet. So everyone else, beware when they start playing.
It wasn't Henry Winter. I can see the guy's face. He's got brown hair.
Yeah,
but I can't remember his name. Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about though.
Yeah, God help their rivals if they hit top form.
Yeah. And then I think they lost to us at the Emirates, and since then, yeah.
Oh, we're so worried.
I know.
That's what I don't get with the media, like, because they're not a threat. So it's all this like loving, like I say, Neville was really well when he wasn't talking about United, and he was like, "I'll go to Spurs," and he's like, "Yeah, Spurs did really well today, but United, oh my god, probably a bit like this, really." Yeah, we'll talk about the other clubs, but Arsenal.
Yeah, it was every episode. It feels like not to take it back to Arsenal, but we are going to take it back to Arsenal.
It should be TCAF, shouldn't it? The casual Arsenal fans.
No, I do like the Vardy shirt as well.
Yeah,
it's quite nice.
Brand new tags, just saying. Got the golden patches on from when they won the league.
Haven't you got a Liverpool one with Henderson on the back as well?
Yeah, I should have got Salah, but Henderson was the captain, so that's also got the FIFA badge in the middle.
Oh, the Club World Cup?
Yeah.
I like that badge. It's quite nice.
I should have got it on City's one last season, really. but I didn't bother.
No, but that is by far and away the nicest. One of the nicest away kits we've ever had.
Yeah, I bought that from one of those websites.
Really?
Yeah, where you can get the kits.
Like a legitimate. I mean, it looks it from the back like a legitimate shirt.
No, I don't know if it's like a legitimate match worn one.
No, not match worn. But I mean, it's
like
you know how you get like fake shirts where it might be missing a certain design. Because I've seen various bits in like various tops and websites. Also, because I've been looking to get one or two.
You know the website Classic? Is it Classic Football Kits or Classic Football
Shirts?
Shirts?
Probably the most legitimate ones. So that'd be okay.
So something like that where they obviously find them and keep them nice and that sort of stuff. So from a website like that, basically.
Because the one that I really want to get is the Barcelona home top from either 0405 or 0506. I don't think it had a sponsor. It was just the plain stripes with Ronaldinho on the back, because that's probably one of my earliest memories of football. Ronaldinho and Eto'o, and
The 0405, was that when they had the bright yellow away strip as well with no sponsor? Because that was really nice.
Potentially, but I mixed the 2 years up, 0405 and 0506. I can't remember. I think actually maybe 0405 was the gold away kit. When when Ronaldinho scored the toe poke at Chelsea. That was 0405 because Chelsea knocked them out, and then Chelsea got knocked out by Liverpool.
Was that 0405? Yeah, probably, because he won the league, didn't he?
Yeah, and then
Mourinho's first season.
The 0506, the yellow one, was when Barcelona won the Champions League, because obviously they beat us in the final.
Yeah. Potentially then.
Yeah,
that was the little toe poke, wasn't it?
Again, one of my earliest memories of football. I remember watching it live, and even as young as I was.
On ITV, when it used to be on terrestrial. Yeah, I know.
I mean, the best reaction is Petr Cech, a world-class goalkeeper, just... Yeah. How's he done that then?
What?
Yeah, genuinely. I think that's maybe an idea for a later time in terms of like top 10 Premier League goals, top 10 Champions League goals. If I'm talking about my favourite Champions League goal of all time, not necessarily the best, that's up there for me. One.
Not Sol Campbell's in the Champions League final.
So we didn't win it. I'm more scarred by Almunia. Not that it was really his fault, but...
Yeah, well... We've managed to take it back to Arsenal again.
I know. We're talking about shirts.
Yeah, I know.
Just proving our point.
Because it's a lovely shirt.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Got any more to say?
No, I think that's it.
Well, thank you all. Well, thank you for joining me, first of all. Thank everybody for listening and also for watching. And now we're recording on podcast. Now we're recording with a video. For anyone who's made it this far, I can add, please like, comment, subscribe, get involved. We're
So those opinions are rubbish. You talk like they're facts.
I always like welcoming debate. So as I said on the podcast,
healthy, friendly debate.
Exactly.
Not just
constructive debate. I don't care if people disagree with me. I don't care if you disagree with me. It's just how you do it, isn't it?
Just agree to disagree.
Exactly.
So sometimes you can't get to a point where you agree. So you just go, all right, that's your opinion. That's my opinion. Agree to disagree.
Move on.
Fair enough.
Exactly.
Move on.
And on that note, you shall hear us on the next one. Thank you.